On today's episode of Undercover Boss, the CEO of Postnet, the world's fastest growing chain of neighborhood business centers, goes undercover. By working on the front lines, he will discover what makes his company tick.
Can I give you information on Postnet? Okay.
What about me? I'm a little bit more handsome, you know?
And how will the boss react when he finds out what's really going on in the city where the business officially began?
What happened? Why aren't you hiring people?
It's hard. We just couldn't really afford to pay someone right now.
Stay with us on this roller coaster ride of today's episode of Undercover Boss. Headquartered in Denver, Colorado, with more than 700 locations across the globe, Postnet is the fastest growing business service company in the world. And overseeing this $200 million a year empire is the co-founder and CEO, Steve Greenbaum. Postnet is the only business in America which focuses on providing resources to small businesses. They help with so many things like shipping and logistics, printing and document services, and also marketing and web support. They basically provide everything that a small business might need to grow exponentially.
Only business in America focused specifically on providing resources to small businesses.
Steve first started Postnet in Las Vegas, Nevada, and because the US Post Office didn't have any mailboxes for rent, Postnet took off immediately, so he identified franchising as a way to go and offered their first franchise in July of 1993. They've now developed over 400 locations throughout the United States and are located in 39 states. They also have locations in 9 countries, and today Postnet is the fastest growing service company in the world.
Today, Postnet is the fastest growing company in our industry in the world.
Steve was born in Chicago. His parents divorced when he was really young, and his father took 2 of his brothers and moved to Las Vegas. Steve didn't want to be separated from his brothers, which really frustrated him and made him act out in his teenage years, leading to him dropping out of high school and leaving Chicago. Steve is a hard worker and grew his business from the ground up, but he still wants to grow it even larger, but in order to do so, he reckons that he needs to go undercover and see the problems or things to improve on, and he realizes that he can't do that as CEO. He'll be going undercover as Brad Kelly, a former motorcycle shop owner who recently lost his business. His employees will be told that he's a contestant on a reality show competing to win money to start his own business. For his first job, he travels to Clifton, New Jersey to work under the franchise owner, and there he meets up with Todd, who informs him of what he does on a daily basis.
This is a summary sheet that we made up, so it talks about letterhead, brochures, banners.
They then go out to talk to businesses face to face and hopefully find new customers. Steven is confident about his ability as a salesman because he did it since he was 8.
As early as 8 years old, I was out knocking on doors and offering to shovel sidewalks, and I would like to get out there and show this guy I can sell.
But he struggles with the first customer, then Todd jumps in and does a good pitch, which really impresses him, and they go around the neighborhood to do the same. While working together, Steve learns that Todd really doesn't like so much of the things that the company mandates, and isn't also happy with their ad campaign, which really hurts Steve as he is highly involved in making those. But he takes the criticism well, as Todd raises very good points and he keeps them in mind.
This pen is as good as garbage to me. I mean, you get this bag, it doesn't have my location on it.
That's a good point.
It doesn't even have a website on it.
That's a good point.
You know, I spent my own money.
The next day he travels to Bronx, New York to work as a shipping and packaging specialist, and there he meets up with Belton and they get right into the job. They start by packaging a TV, and Belton teaches him how to do it carefully and perfectly. They then go outside to give flyers to people, and they have a friendly competition on who could finish their flyer first. It was a close call, but Steve manages to win with Belton 1 flyer behind.
Oh, did you get stuck with one?
Fine, lunch is on me. We could go to one of the pieces.
Later they go on a break at Belton's house, and he learns that Belton served in the military and actually wanted to be a chef when he came back. Steve tastes his food and really loves it and asks him why he isn't a chef now, and Belton explains that he didn't have the money to go to school.
Money issues, and but I'm definitely not giving up on my cooking dreams. It's only put aside for right now.
I can.
For his next job, he travels to Las Vegas, Nevada, to the birthplace of the brand. He meets up with the franchise owner, Jim and Tina, and they teach him how to sort mail and send them to customers. While working, Steve sees that this store is using very old technology.
When I look at this particular center, I see Postnet of 10 years ago. They're doing some things I don't think we've supported for years.
And he then asks them how business is going, and they tell him that it's been bad, and though they want to upgrade their stores to new ones, they haven't been able to because of the price. They can't even afford to hire people, so they work there with their son. For his last job, Steve travels to Georgia to work with one of the graphic designers. He meets up with Shannon and she teaches him how to design for a basic flyer. She then leaves him to do his own design, and unsurprisingly, his design was not so good.
I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, but...
You know, let's go ahead and just... Brad and computers do not mix.
They then design and cut a banner, and he also gets to meet her son Tyler, who spends his free time helping his mom run the business. He also learns a little more about Tyler, and she tells him that he has autism. And because of that fact, she has to send him to a private school where he could get the education specific to his condition. But as a single mom, she struggles to pay for his tuition.
I'm humbled beyond words by her commitment for her son. I think Shannon is a really strong person.
Steve's undercover time has finally come to an end, and he's met different people and seen what challenges they face, and he's contemplated as CEO what he can do to improve their lives, which will in turn also improve his business. So Steve has invited his employees to his office to reveal his true identity.
Belton, I'm actually Steve Greenbaum, CEO of Postnet.
First in was Todd, and he tells him that he was disappointed to hear that he didn't like the way Postmate does their ads, but it's really helped him improve on that. And he then offers him a position on the company's marketing committee where he will have influence over how the marketing dollar is spent. And he then gives him a brand new motorcycle, and finally, after so many years, Todd is now in possession of his dream motorbike.
My favorite things in life are Harleys, my business, and being a part of something. Pretty incredible. I mean, it's been a good day.
Next in were Jim and Tina, and he tells them although they were great workers, their old tech was holding them back, so he offers to fly them to HQ to put them with a planner so they could upgrade their system and get back on track. He also gives them $5,000 and a fully paid vacation for them and their families. And in addition, he gives them $40,000 to help with their financial situation.
I'd like to give you $40,000 to help upgrade your center to Gen Next.
Next in was Shannon, and he tells her that he really enjoyed working with her and that her work was impeccable. He tells her that he also loved meeting Tyler and that he remembers that she was worried about not being able to pay for his school tuition, and he gives her $20,000 for that and another $10,000 to help with her other expenses. He also promises to give $10,000 to an autism charity in Tyler's name.
Tyler's gonna be in a place where he's gonna get the nurturing, the education that he needs. It was just incredible.
And last but not least was Belton. He tells him that he had fun working with him and that he enjoyed his time. He then goes on to say that he promises to donate $10,000 to a military charity in Belton's name, and he then gives him $20,000 so he can take care of his PTSD, and he goes on to give him another $20,000 so he can pay for his school tuition.
I could get up and hug you right now.
You can hug me, man.
I definitely.
All right. Never say no to that.
In the weeks since, Jim and Tina have begun to remodel and update their store, and their grand reopening is later that year. Todd has contributed fresh new marketing ideas to the company, and he and Steve have planned a motorcycle ride together at the Postnet convention later that year. Shannon has put a down payment on the perfect house for her and her son, and Tyler's school tuition has been fully paid. And finally, Belton has begun culinary school and is currently perfecting his lasagna. And this is how this amazing episode of Undercover Boss comes to an end.